my name is Jessica Vanell, and as you may or may not know, I used to be a princess performer for kids' parties. And actually sharing my stories and skits about when I was a party princess is how I started on social media. And my first video that I ever made about it that went viral is this one.
What's poppin'? Don't mind me, just watching.
Yeah, if anyone remembers when that audio was trending, here's your veteran TikToker badge. But anyway, if not for those stories, I would not be where I am on social media today. And because of that, I want to make a series where I answer some of the most common questions that I have got about how I became a party princess, why I stopped being a party princess, how you can become a party princess, and more. Now, the first question that I get about being a party princess is, how did I become a party princess? So I got very lucky, and there was already a party company in the area where I was going to school, and I was in high school at the time that I became a party princess. And they had online applications. A friend of mine had been hired for the company to be a princess, so she's the one that referred me to the website to apply. And the application asked some very basic questions. Do you like kids? Do you want to perform at parties? Do you have any acting experience? Do you have any experience with kids? Do you have an experience dressing up? And then do you have your own vehicle so you could get to and from parties? And finally, they asked for us to submit headshots. So I had my dad take a few pictures of me and I submitted them. For the audition, they asked us to come in a full face of makeup inspired by our favorite princess, so I chose Rapunzel, and I did my hair too. And after that audition, I was hired. What was it like auditioning to be a party princess? Well, it was nerve-wracking. I was a teenager in high school, so I went out and I bought a whole bunch of makeup so I could go to the audition with the full face that they asked for. The false eyelashes were a pain in my butt. The audition was actually held at the co-owner's home, and I promise that that's not quite as creepy as it sounded. At the very least, I never felt unsafe with it, and neither did my parent. But I came in, we went over pay, expectations, the fact that I would be an independent contractor, which I had no clue what that was at the time, but went over some pretty basic Disney character trivia, and then it was time to try on costumes. So I tried on Snow White, Elsa, and Rapunzel, and I did sing in my audition, but I was not a singing princess. That was fine with me. I'm not a singer and I didn't want to be a singing princess, but nevertheless, a little while later, I got the message that I was hired, and so it all began. So what was my training like for this? Well, my first order of business was to do my research and get to know all of these characters and their backstories and every little piece of trivia I could about them. Now, thankfully, I have been a fan of, fairy tales for a very long time, so that was not a problem. Because keep in mind, for copyright laws, none of these characters were actually Disney characters. What's actually a big part of the training was also understanding what was and wasn't under copyrighted law so that we knew how to approach posting about this job and those characters. So for example, if I posted anything online about my job, I was the Snow Queen, not Elsa. Of course, if the parents or kids called us Elsa while we were at their party, well, we just had to go along with it. It's all very fun skirting copyright laws. Now, a lot of questions I also get about being a party princess is how much of what I wore did I have to supply? Now, in the case of the party company I was hired for, we had to supply our own makeup and shoes, but they supplied the wigs and the costumes. Though we were told that understandably, if we damaged the wigs or costumes, we would have to pay for the repair or replacement. But at parties, if it was the kids who destroyed any of those pieces, the parents were billed. Another question I get often is, were we trained on how to do our makeup and how hard is it? If needed and or requested, our boss would absolutely train girls on how to do their makeup. However, since I've been doing cosplay at this point for many years, I was already familiar with theater type makeup, so I didn't need the training. But as for how difficult it was, really only need a few main things in my opinion to do princess makeup, and that is false eyelashes, eyeliner, and plenty of glitter. Oh, and my favorite hack, white eyeliner on the waterline helps to make your eyes look bigger, brighter, and more cartoon-like. I get asked often, how long did I work as a party princess, and can I please show some pictures? So I'll do both of those in one. So I worked as a party princess from 2014, and I officially left the company in 2016. I primarily played Elsa because I have naturally big blue eyes, and it was the height of Frozen fever. But believe it or not, Snow White was actually my favorite character to play, and I only got to play her for one party. I also got to play Anna for a party, and those freckles were rough. And then the only other princess I got to actually play for a party was Cinderella. But I did get to do a photo shoot where I took pictures as Ariel, also in the green dress. I also got to dress up as Belle, Rapunzel, And we did get the costume for the new Cinderella, but I'm not sure if it was ever really utilized. But yes, for about 90% of my parties, I was playing Elsa because I am tall, I have blue eyes, and we were in the height of Frozen fever. How much was I paid as a party princess? I got paid $150 for every hour-long party and $75 for every 30-minute party. Now, if you're about to go run off saying that that's super lucrative and you want to go do that right now, pump the brakes and let me break that down for you. Keep in mind that 30-minute parties were actually fairly uncommon, and I would maybe only get 1 hour-long party every weekend. And if you're thinking, well, hey, that's still $150 for an hour of work on the weekend, let's do it. I have more to break down. Picking up and dropping off the costume and supplies from my boss's house took about an hour. Doing my hair and makeup and costume at my home took about 2 hours. Driving to the party generally took about an hour. The party itself took an hour. Driving home took an hour. That's 6 hours. So keep that in mind. Now, could I accept tips as a party princess? Party princesses were allowed to accept tips in my company. So on top of making $150 for every hour-long party or $75 for every 30-minute party, we could then also get a tip on top of that. However, you done expected. I don't recall the exact prices that we charged to hire a princess for an hour-long party, but I think that it was generally around like $260 to $300. Maybe if you added a second character, they bundled it to be about $350. And on top of that, my company offered a lot of other services, so it could get pricey really quick, so people wouldn't generally think to tip. And there really is no predicting who will tip or how much they'll tip. I did a party that was full of kids at this mansion for some really stuffy people, and they gave me zip. I did a party that was for a very modest little family, only a few kids there, really relaxed atmosphere. They gave me $60. There's really just no telling. Now, when and why ever did I stop being a party princess? Did I have some major falling out with someone in the company? Did I make a huge mistake? Did I cuss in front of a kid? No, I went to college. I moved away and went to college, and anytime I did come back to the city to visit, I was busy visiting friends and family and frankly didn't have time to go through the whole process of doing a party. So eventually I just had to leave the company, and it was sad, but of course my boss understood. In fact, my boss actually asked if I wanted to open up my own branch of the company where I went to college, and I said, no thank you. I didn't have the time, money, or really motivation to have my own branch of the company where I lived, and even though I had a lot of fun being a party princess, it wasn't something I had a big desire to continue to do. But I did audition for Disney one time. So that is another question that I get all the time, is why didn't I become a Disney princess? Since I did go to college in Orlando, I did audition to be a Disney princess, but I was eliminated the first round, and that kind of made me realize that it wasn't for me anyway. I didn't really want to be a Disney princess for a few reasons. Me personally, I didn't want to have to micromanage my diet. I also didn't want to be putting that much makeup on my face all day, every day, because I do have some very sensitive skin, and I have had to fix a lot of issues with that. Number two, it really wouldn't have helped in my career at all because I went to school for hospitality management, not for entertainment, so it would not have set up a career for me in any way. Although social media has kind of changed that, but And really the primary reason is because I love being a party princess because I got to know the kids, I got to sit down with them for 30 minutes to an hour and have a whole interaction, whereas at Disney, it's pretty much, hi, nice to see you, bye, and that wasn't fun to me. What was my craziest party while I was working as a party princess? Well, anyone who has been here since the beginning knows this story all too well, and that is a story of the evil Elsa. All right, I have told this story so many times that I'm gonna do it in one take and it's going to be rapid fire, and I do not care if you can't keep up. So I am hired to be Elsa for a party. I go to the party. There is another Elsa there from a competing company, and I know that she's not from our company. I don't ask how, I just know. So she sees me, I see her. She runs into the party. She gets in there with the kids. I go up, I ask for the mom. The mom comes out and I say, hi, I'm here with insert my party company name here. And she goes, wait a minute, I hired you, not that girl. What's she doing in my party? And I go, I don't know. And she says, all right, well, you need to get in there. I'm kicking her out. So she kicks the other Elsa out. I go in. Now the other kids have already been with this Elsa for about 5 minutes. So they're looking at me like, who the heck are you? And I'm like, I'm the real Elsa. So I tell them I'm the real Elsa. I sit down, I have the party. One of the girls asks who the other Elsa was, and I say that she was just an evil twin or something. I don't know, ask your mother. If you're still here with me after that, thank you. Now, what was my most memorable party? I haven't told this story yet, so I'm gonna go slow. So I was asked by a friend who also worked at the party company if I would volunteer to do a party for free for a friend of hers whose husband was in the hospital around the Christmas season, to just kind of bring some light to this family and help distract the kids during a really rough time. And of course I said yes. So we get to the house and it's more of us just hanging out with the two girls because there weren't any other kids there. So we decorated cookies, they showed us all their toys and their playroom, and it was a really nice time. And when we left, the mother pressed an envelope into both of our hands and we were like, oh no, she didn't. This was a family that was really struggling and the mom tipped us both $40 and we were like, this will not stand. We took that money, went to Target and got gifts not only for the little girls, but also for the mother, wrapped them and dropped them off on their doorstep. And the mom actually sent us a video that I'm not going to show for their privacy, but it was of the girls opening the door to the gifts from Anna and Elsa, and it just warms my heart every time I see it. Now, when we were tipped that money that we were not supposed to be paid because we did a free party to help out this family, what did we get for the mom and the girls? Well, I had noticed that even though the girls had the Anna and Elsa dresses, they didn't have any of the accessories. So we found an accessory pack that was crowns, clip-in earrings, all that, for the characters that we then gave to the little girls. And then for the mom, we got her a big basket that was a movie night kind of basket. So that way when her husband did get to come home, they could relax and watch a movie together. We also got them peppermint ice cream and hot chocolate and told them in a note that it was an Arendelle specialty to put the ice cream in the hot chocolate. I want to give some information on the party company that I worked for itself. So this princess party company that I worked for didn't just specialize in characters. This party company had actually already been established for I think about 7 years when I got hired. So they not only had a huge repertoire of characters and costumes and mascots, but they were also a party planning company. So if you wanted to, you could purchase one of their pre-packaged themes that they would come and set up for you, like spa day or tea party, or if you wanted, they would customize a package for you and then, like I said, come to your house and decorate it. Now this did cost a pretty penny. I think it was upwards of $500 just for the party, not including a character. And they did also offer catering in that. So honestly, it was a pretty decent deal if you had the money. Now for my next question in the series, was there any princess party company drama? Any workplace where you're going to have a lot of young people with some big egos, it's gonna be like high school in a lot of ways. The only drama I was ever really involved in centered around who was best at being what character, and honestly that just kind of came down to a matter of looks and opinions, and I didn't really let it bother me. Some of these other girls, oh my gosh, you had some girls who were super close friends who suddenly turned enemies, and one girl is accusing the other of cheating on her husband with multiple people, and then rumors start spreading all the way to the top to the owner of the company, who decides to take a side and essentially fire the other girl without outright firing her. And oh, I was so glad I was like basically out the door at that point, because it was just woo. So yeah, drama happens. What does a party princess even do? If you have hired one, or if you are going to be a party princess, what should you expect when that party princess walks through the door? Well, with the party company that I worked for, we had it very structured. The first 5 minutes, we'd walk in, say hello to everyone, and take a seat. Then for the next 10 minutes, we would do a story time, because that allowed the kids to stare at us and start to get used to our presence and hopefully not be quite so starstruck. We'd also ask them questions as we were reading so they would get comfortable interacting with the princesses. Then we would do 10 minutes of photos. The next 30 minutes would have been dedicated to an activity. Our company had a whole list of activities that we could offer, like face painting, nail painting, building a snowman with marshmallows and pretzels and chocolate, things like that. And then that would take up that big chunk of time. And then at the end, we would have about 5 to 10 minutes of cutting the cake and leaving, depending on how long the activities went on for. And generally the character attendant that we would have come with us kept time for us, but if we didn't have a character attendant for that party, then the bag we brought all our supplies in, we usually have a little watch around or inside of it that we could peek at. Now here comes the next question. How do you get hired to be a party princess? This answer really depends on where you are and what's around you. And if you're really young, it might also depend on the labor laws of your state, because I do have a lot of very young people asking me when they could be a party princess. It is still a job, so you are subject to the age restrictions on having a job where you live. You can start doing some research now. You can see, are there any party companies near you? What do their reviews look like? Do they seem like they're any good? Are they hiring? When are they hiring? Can you reach out to them and ask them any questions? You can start there. Then if there are not any party companies around you, or they don't seem like they're the kind that you want to work for, you can look into starting your own. And then for the very last question, how do I start my very own princess party company? Keep in mind, I've only ever worked for a party company. I've never had one of my own. I've never even started a company before. So I don't have all of the legal business rule know-how behind that. But what I do know about party princess companies is that you're gonna need a mode of transportation, you're gonna need costumes, you're gonna need wigs, you're gonna need makeup, you're gonna need either yourself to be able to do the parties, or you're gonna need to hire people, ask friends to do it. You probably will wanna start off with doing parties for friends, building a portfolio, and then going from there. Advertise on social media, advertise locally. If there are any volunteerism you can do dressed up at a hospital or at a library or wherever else where you could get the name out there, do that. And I wish you the best of luck if you do. Those are all the questions I had for this video. Did I get to yours? If you have any other questions about being a party princess, please leave them in the comment section below and I will make a follow-up video. Thank you so much.